And when I was the first time in China, it was 1984. So in a bit of a way, I could watch and I could compare the differences from the very beginning till to the last time when I was last year in China. You cannot find it anywhere in the world. It's changing every 1, 2, 3, 4 months. I mean, if you compare China to the rest of the world, in 10 years, China was erecting and building 32,000 kilometers of the high-speed train. You cannot find it nowhere in the world. And I'm a civil engineer. I mean, we have a tiny ICE train system here in Germany, so it's fascinating. The speed, whatever you do, you have the longest highways, you have the longest bridges, you have the highest bridges, you have the highest buildings, you have the biggest and best universities. So we can count it the next half hour what you have done, and it's changing every week, every day. China is changing. I like all the different teas, I like all the different food, I like all the different cultures. That is fascinating on your country, or it's fascinating on the long history of China, that you have such a big variety of food, of culture, of songs, of dancing, hot food, spicy food, the Shanghai food, all the other Chengdu. So it's always a pleasure to go, to see, to test, to try, and always to be fascinated how good it is all together. When I was the acting president of the Prussian Society, it was my greatest pleasure and honor to work very close together with the Chinese Cultural Center in Berlin, and we made a lot of things together, like 5 times the Chinese Moon Festival. And whenever I come to this place, the Chinese Cultural Center in Berlin, it's always fascinating for me, and it's a wonderful, good place. It's not only a wonderful, good place, it's a wonderful, good method to learn from China, from your outstanding, overwhelming, great and long-lasting, fascinating history. It's always a pleasure to learn and to see from the Chinese culture. China has a complete different way of doing things ahead for the future time. Not war, not navy, not army. They have the best parade and the best army in the world. But therefore this One Road, One Belt initiative is something very fascinating, which you do not have anywhere else. And the strategic aims or goals for China in the next few years is Africa. And as I was as a civil engineer a long time in Africa, for me it's fascinating that China is not going to Africa to tell them what to do, but to help, to assist, to work together. It's something very fascinating that we have something very comparable in all our living, in all our attitudes to life, to families, to govern a state. And whenever I'm in China, I feel like home. And that is a special combination, that is a special thing in both of the histories of our Prussian history and your 5,000–6,000 years long history. But it's fitting like twins, and that is a wonderful feeling. For me, it's one of the most important things. It's a wonderful way of diplomacy because when you talk about culture, when you talk about singing, dancing, then you are not automatically talking about politics. So for me, in a way, to have a cultural center to present the cultures is a very wonderful way to present a country, to tell about a country, to learn about a country, to give an idea of the long span of time of history. So it's great, fascinating.